No, no music today.
No music.
No music today. We had a quick show. This is our third show, the Pigpen Show. We're gonna make this one kind of quick today. We've got Tyson indoor invite to cover today and tomorrow. First, we want to talk about 2013 recruiting. Recruiting's already getting in full swing. We just ended it 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
Pat, tell us a little bit about some of the 2013 recruits football's looking at.
Yeah, it's still early in the process. The coaches are out making contact with the high school coaches of these prospects. Early, Caleb Blanchard from Denham Springs, running back, about 6 foot, 220 pounds. Should be taking a visit here for Junior Day this coming weekend. They're also going to have Stan Von Taylor from Tulsa East Central, who's an athlete / cornerback. Real aggressive kid, about 6 foot, 175 pounds. J.J. Gustafson has been reported. Dallas straight Jesuit High School, 6'6", about 260, 265, one of the top offensive linemen from that Dallas-Fort Worth area, as well as the state of Texas. I believe Austin Allen will be in attendance. A kid at Fayetteville, quarterback who Arkansas has offered. The young man's already been offered to play in the Cyprian v. Dallas All-American game out in Phoenix, Arizona. Brooks Ellis is a linebacker, about 6 foot, about 6'2", 215, Fayetteville High School. Also being offered by the University of Arkansas. This is going to be a group of like defensive linemen. Isaac Rochelle, you'll hear about him from McDonough, Georgia. One of the top defensive linemen in Georgia as well. Suede Cravens is a kid that I really like at the safety spot, about 6'2", 205, plays a lot of different positions, running back. Also plays a little wide receiver for his high school out in Murrieta, California. He's at Centennial. And Marcus Ferrari, who's a big defensive lineman, who many don't know, he's out in Phoenix, Arizona, but he's a Katrina kind of situation. Kid moved out to Arizona from New Orleans, so he's kind of got some roots in the SEC and understands that brand of football. His high school coach, ironically, has a great relationship with his lead recruiter, Chris Klonakis, who's doing an outstanding job. Also on the update front with a 2012 class, Devontae Neal will be making his final decision this Tuesday, the 21st. It's down to 4 schools of North Carolina, Arkansas, Arizona, and Notre Dame. Who knows where these kids are going to go? Some are saying Notre Dame, but we won't know until around about 12 o'clock their time. Arkansas, in that top 4, so until that kid says otherwise, no one knows where he's going to go, but he will be making his decision on the 21st, which is Tuesday.
Pat, it seems like we're making the top 5 list of a lot of top recruits, but we're not landing them. What seems to be the thing we need to do to get over the hump and start landing some of these, top 150 recruits that have us in their final list, choosing other schools on the last week?
See, I think when you talk about top recruits, I think that gets real misconstrued as to what is a top recruit. Certain services are going to rank kids a lot higher than other services. You look on Arkansas's signing day list, and several kids were offered by the Notre Dames, Tennessee's, LSU's, Texas A&M's, the Alabamas. So, to say that it's, top recruits, I guess that's just whatever your coach is looking for. I think, it's in the evaluation process. Each coach looks for a different type of football player. I think Arkansas had a great class. As far as the top recruits, the more they win, it's only going to take winning. Arkansas still has to win an SEC championship. They're considered to be one of the elite 3 to 5 programs in the SEC at this moment, with the job Bobby Petrino and his staff is doing. Just continue to be a national name, to keep that Razorback brand across the country where kids are tuning in. And, if you can play more games, Travis, like you did against, the LSUs and the Alabamas and the Auburns, games that people at South Carolina, games that people are talking about on a week-to-week basis, you're going to have your fair share of wins in those battles for those top recruits. I strongly believe that this year, the 2013 class, you'll see kind of the fruits of that BCS Bowl as these kids. Arkansas is going to be out there. They're going to be a top 5 team throughout the year. When you got Tyler Wilson and Niall Davis, both of whom will be garnering some national, some Heisman Trophy candidacy, notoriety. That's going to help also, and it's just the atmosphere. If Arkansas can continue to do what they've been doing, you'll see more of those kids decide to say, "Hey, I want to cast my lot and go to the University of Arkansas."
Rumor is on the hill that we might be signing Rutgers to play in our open day.
I really like that. I think that that bodes both. You can get out and play a BCS school that can kind of gain you some points, because that the non-conference schedule, as we all know, is not one that you cringe about. You just when you look at it every year in early fall, winter, you put up W's because you just know that they're going to be wins. To play at Rutgers can get you out on the East Coast and kind of brand your name. And those
Trino's
kids,
looking at one of the top quarterbacks in
heads.
the nation and stuff in that area.
Yeah, when you got guys up at Fork Union looking at you as a quarterback, that's only going to help. And that's Fork Union, Virginia, by the way, up on that East Coast. So and Trino's kind of got some ties, having coached at Louisville, and he understands the Big East landscape. And he's just trying to get the more you can get your name out there, coast to coast in all regions, it's only going to help you in recruiting.
The first thing I thought of when I heard Rutgers was, well, it's not a marquee headlining name. It's not a Florida State. It's not a Oklahoma. I would love to play Oklahoma, but it is Rutgers. It is an FBS school. They can beat you. It is good for our power rankings, and it puts our brand out there a little bit more on the East Coast. So after thinking about it, I thought it was overall.
This Rutgers team is a very good program. Coach Schiano did a great job in getting them some national respectability. I think the coach that has stepped in now is going to do a great job with the kids they have. They did, by all accounts, sign one of the top 25 recruiting classes in America for this past 2012 signing class. So, that alone would let you know that kids do look at Rutgers in a national way. And, like I said, Travis, it's only going to help Arkansas, because to be the best, you have to put your name out there in some of the areas that you haven't been able to get recruits out of. And I think this home and home with Rutgers, being a Big East school, is only going to help.
Let's move on to basketball. What in the world is going on with the men playing away from Bud Walton? The game at Georgia, a lot of people had already chalked up as a first road win and maybe something that we could hang our hat on for the NCAAs, and it evaporated in the first 2 minutes of that game.
I kind of attribute that to just a team that when things went good for Georgia, they continue to go good. I think Georgia came out and played probably their best SEC conference game of the year, and that's not to take anything away from the poor job that Arkansas did, but it's a maturation. This still is a young basketball team. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but the reality is that you only have 2 or 3 seniors on this team. This is a predominantly freshman and sophomore team. They lost some of their better players, with Marshawn Powell being out, who's a junior, that could have helped this team. He's real mature. You just kind of scratch your head. You see, having them come off the Alabama game there at Tuscaloosa and go down to Baton Rouge, and you play back-to-back weekends to within 6 points, and you kind of see that this team is getting better, and then to go out and perform like they did just this past Wednesday in Athens, it does leave you, scratching your head. They'll figure it out.
I stopped at the liquor store after the game, and I was standing in line, and there was some, the typical boo birds, talking trash, and the guy behind the college student, you can tell he's a college student, working his way through school. He said, "Well, at least we're still talking about him in February." Yeah. This time last year, we were thinking about praying baseball season got here. Baseball couldn't get here quick enough.
That's the good thing, and there's a student. When a student can say that, Coach Anderson and his staff are going in the right direction, and he's exactly right. So many times over the past 5 or so years, heck, Travis, January hit, you're already looking for that first baseball game in February.
Please get here.
You hear a lot about the baseball team, which has an upcoming game, opener next weekend here in Fayetteville against Villanova, but still yet, you're still talking about, can this team make the NCAA tournament? Their RPI ratings hovering around 60 or 61. It may take a dip with that loss at Athens against the Bulldogs of Georgia, but the fact is that you're still talking about this basketball team as a possible NCAA contender. To get into the big dance is something that Arkansas fans are really, really appreciative of, and I'm pretty sure those kids love it too.
Well, on the flip side, Pat, we've got another basketball team on campus that's doing pretty well. I mean, the girls last night dominated, and if they hadn't have put the subs in with 5 minutes to go, we might have beat South Carolina by 30.
You love this for the senior group of Lindsey Harris and Ashley Daniels and Sierra Ricketts and those type of players. They've been through the ups and the downs. Suffered a lot of close losses last year that cost them. I think Travis, I think they lost 5 or 6 games by 6 or less. I know last year over at Bud Walton, they kind of let one slip away against South Carolina there in the waning seconds that ended up going to overtime. You look at where they've been and where they're going right now. And I think when you look back, and a lot of people that went to that Tennessee game in early January, you would not have foreseen this to be these girls on a 7-game winning streak, and you don't know what was said amongst the team or the seniors, but apparently something was said that really got this team going. And in the press conference last night, Ashley Daniels said it best: as Sierra Ricketts goes, so goes the team, and I really feel like they feed off of her senior leadership.
Well, I don't know what happened, but after that 4-game SEC opening loss streak, them girls must have had a come to Jesus meeting. They've now won 7 in a row, and it looks like they're going to be big dance bound.
Yeah, you want to credit Coach Collin and his staff for doing a great job of keeping this team psyche up to a point where after that Tennessee loss, and you hate to keep talking about that loss, but it was so devastating to see the way that they played for a lot of the fans, that they kept this team believing. And then they come back and they beat an Auburn, and then you go down and you beat an LSU, and you're picking up steam, and you beat Mississippi State. And if you notice, all the seniors throughout this run are starting to really step up and make a lot of difference in the progression of this season. I think this team is NCAA bound. They still have a test coming up with Tennessee in a few weeks. Got to go to Auburn, which will be an ESPN2 nationally televised game at 2:30 on this coming Sunday. I feel like this team is playing with a lot of confidence. Ironically, they're the hottest team in the SEC with the 7-game winning streak, and that's only going to help grow confidence. Practices when you're winning. You and I play. When you're winning, practices seem fun. You're a lot more energetic. You want to get there and put those shoes on and those practice shorts and jersey, and you listen to your coaching staff a little bit more, because hey, whatever they're telling me, it's working. So the team's having a lot of fun, and it's really enjoyable to see.
Man, it's an exciting brand of basketball to watch, man. We were watching last night, and they like to run, they like to press, they're high pressure. Some of the freshmen, Callie Berner kid is coming out of her shell, and she stole everything but their bus. Last night she had 6 steals, and made a couple threes. So there's a lot of good things going on with the girls basketball right now, and we'd like to see a little bit bigger crowd come out and help support it. It's fun to watch.
I think this team has gotten to a point where I think the fans need to come out and support them a little more. I know you like to give credit to a lot of the girls that are really making an impact, and you talked about Berner, a true freshman there from Fayetteville High School, Dominique Robertson, a sophomore, redshirt sophomore, who came in 2 years ago as a freshman out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and made a huge impact. She was not there last year, and you could kind of tell that they missed her. Having her back on the court was a big boost. Kiera Peak, what can you say about that true sophomore? All she does is just contribute. She's always on the floor. If there was a award for injuries and bumps and bruises, Kiera would get it every single week. She just gives her body to that basketball team, and I know they really appreciate it. And you can kind of tell that they feed off of her a little bit too off that bench. It's just the energy the things that they're getting off their bench as well as their starters is making for a fun and exciting brand of basketball. And Travis, I totally agree with you. Fans, you need to get out there and you need to support this team, because they're a team that's representing this university in women's basketball at a high level.
I tell you, the thing that most impressed me was they fought and scratched for every ball that hit the floor, every rebound. There was two times in last night's game where a rebound came off, and it was about a 45-second fight between the two teams, and Arkansas came up with it. And then, that's impressive to see athletic ability and competition and hustle and the girls doing those kind of things that they need to do to win.
Yeah, absolutely. They're doing all those things, and like you said, just the more support these girls are going to feed off what's in the stands. And a tribute goes out to the fans that did come out. I think there were about 30 some odd people there. It's a tribute to you guys and these girls. I'm pretty sure if you ask Coach Card and any of those coaches or players with that program right now, I mean, they're really thankful for what what fans are coming out. And, they would like to see more. Who knows where you could take this program, because as we all know, in recruiting or anything building a program, your atmosphere and your crowd support and fan support goes a long way with bringing in some of the top cheer talent in the country. And, if you want to get to the level of, say, a UConn and a Stanford and Baylor, you kind of, in Notre Dame, you kind of have to fill those seats up, and you never know. The fans could be the deciding factor in where these young ladies decide to sign on signing day.
Well, Pat, like we said at opening the show, we've got some other Razorback events this weekend, baseball scrimmages. We've got a big track and field invitational. The Tyson Indoor Invitational starts today and goes through tomorrow. It's not just college athletes. We've got some Olympians in town. This is going to be a fun, exciting meet to watch.
Absolutely. Some of the best talent that you will ever get a chance to see. I mean, these are Olympians. You got the #1 track men's team, here from Arkansas that's going to be participating. They have some future All-Americans and future Olympians as well.
The number three women's team.
Each and every year when you talk Tyson Invitational, you talk about one of the more competitive track meets in all of the country, year in and year out. And I don't see any reason to think that this weekend won't be any different.
Well, we're going to have to cut it early. We've got to make it to the Tyson Invite. We want to thank Boar's Nest Barbecue, Yankees USA Computers, C&E Locksmith, and now that's Cooking.com. Some of our sponsors for making this happen. If you have questions or comments, go to SueyNation.com and feel free to post them. Suggestions, if you want to come be on the show, let us know. Send us an email, and we'll get you down here. Next week, we have Brian Walker. He's one of the admins for hogblog.org. It's got about 90,000 followers on Facebook now. He's going to be a guest in-house, and we've got some other guests coming up. So hopefully you'll keep watching and enjoy it.
And also, I don't know if a lot of fans know, but if you hadn't heard already, the Nolan Richardson 40 Minutes of Hell documentary will be shown after the basketball game tomorrow at Bud Walton Arena. Also, it will air at 9 p.m. on ESPNU this evening. So, it's a really good documentary. I've had a chance to see just pieces and parts of it. It's really something that I think if you're a Razorback fan and say you didn't, such as me and Travis, grow up in that Nolan Richardson area where it was 40 Minutes of Hell, I think you'd really get a kick out of just, you watch Mike and you can kind of understand what Mike is bringing back after you watch this documentary. So if you're not doing anything, tonight at 9 o'clock, tune in to ESPNU and have a look. And if you're not doing anything this weekend, get out and support the Razorback men's basketball team at 12:30 if you can get a ticket. I'm pretty sure the atmosphere, as always, is going to be electric. But it's a big weekend. Like Travis said, if you have any questions, email us, SueyNation.com. We'd love to answer any question that you might have to the best of our ability. Like we've always said, what we don't know, we will definitely research and come up with that answer for you. Until then, we'll see you next week.
See you Monday.